What's going on, everybody? BobbyFi here. I hope you're able to do my 5 and 5. Hope you all had a fantastic Monday night. I had a good slate on FanDuel, not as good on DraftKings. Almost won a couple of big ones on FanDuel, but had a second and 10th and cashed in every lineup over there. So that was good at least. What we're going to do for the 5 and 5 today is I'm going to pick my 5 favorite stacks and then recommend a play from each of those stacks. Now, some of these stacks you could say, oh, they're chalky, but the truth is it'll be spread out a little bit today. And there are different routes in the stacks, and we'll get into that during the video. I'm going to remind you guys right now, we've been absolutely crushing with our team with Sheets' Sheets. With my plays of the day and everything like that. All my ownership percentages are all up on TrueDFS.com. It's free right now for the first month. If you guys want to join, go to TrueDFS.com. I will attach the link in description, as well as our Discord channel, which is currently free, but probably won't be too much longer. And we'll get all that stuff straightened away. It's a good time of year because we got baseball, we got golf back, we got football. Those guys are crushing League of Legends, NASCAR, MMA, all that stuff that I don't do as much of, but we do have it covered from our team over here at True DFS. So let's get into it right now. I'm going to start off with Philly. I think Philadelphia is a awesome stack tonight. I think that you're going to get a little bit lower ownership because of certain pricing than you will some of the other top stacks. My favorite play, no shocker, is Bryce Harper. Now, the outfield is loaded in general. I don't mind if you want to use Didi as a shortstop. I think that's a reasonable option. Brad Miller at first base is certainly an option, as well as Real Muto stands out as being the best catching option on the slate, without the possible exception of Salvador Perez because he seems to hit a home run every day. But I like Montas, so I'm going to say my favorite play is Harper. The next one we're going to get to are the Yankees. Obviously going to be a pretty popular stack tonight. Certainly the standout to be my favorite stack in terms of production. I think there are ways you can stack it that's going to be a little bit different. My favorite play there is also going to be Aaron Judge. Obviously, that's going to be a fairly chalky one. Stanton should get lower ownership next to him. Joey Gallo in the lefty-lefty and Anthony Rizzo in the lefty-lefty, assuming he's in the lineup, are ways you can get a little bit off the board, as well as Higashioka, who is expensive on DraftKings, and I think you can use him as a potential option over there. Houston, obviously another one that people are going to like against Lyles. They did score 15 runs last night, and sometimes, we don't see teams do that back-to-back all that often. It's another great spot for them against a bad bullpen and Lyles as a starter. Lyles is getting up the most home runs in the major leagues. Favorite play there is also going to be a pretty popular one is Bregman. Next would be Alvarez. I think they're both fantastic plays. I think you could use them both in cash. They are my two standouts for Houston. But I think the way you try and get different with the Houston stack is people are going to play McCormick, and that's fine. Assuming, depending on how it breaks out, if Myers is in the lineup, however it shakes out, there's a lot of different routes you can go and try and get a little off the board. Gurriel and Maldonado tend to be a little bit less owned, especially Gurriel because of his price point. So that's something you can consider. Next stack, LA Dodgers. Probably going to be lower owned than people project, but I still really like them. I especially like the lefties, Muncy being one of them. But my favorite is going to be Seager. I think he's the best option at shortstop today on DraftKings. He's also reasonable on FanDuel. So I'm going to be saying Corey Seager is definitely one of my top 5 plays today and will be spread in a lot of my lineups. Next, Chicago White Sox. I think they're going to be the lower owned of these group of teams, but they do have some guys who stand out price-wise, so maybe it could actually change because of people wanting to pay up for Cole. But I think that Abreu at 4,200 is kind of a joke, and Jimenez at 3,700 are the ones that stand out the most. That's just a mispricing, basically, on both these guys' talent level. You can play Luis Robert, who's going to be a little bit lower owned than them because he's 4,400. I think it's a great way to get off. I do think Abreu is my favorite play because I think the outfield's better than the infield today. But I love Jimenez as well. Even Moncada, who I don't like against lefties in general, is only 3.9. I think he's a really reasonable option at third base. And you can fill it out with guys like Cesar Hernandez, and assuming that he's in the lineup tonight, Andrew Vaughn. I know we got some questions on him still. One bonus guy or some bonus guys who I like, those are the ones in the stacks that I like. I like Conforto a lot. I don't mind a mini Met stack, but I'm not fully stacking them. I like the Miami outfield, Brinson, De La Cruz, and Sanchez, but I also am playing a lot of Fetty, so I'm not going to get to as much of them, Sanchez being my favorite of that bunch. Anyway, guys, we will be live at 6 Eastern, and I'm glad you guys have all been there. I love our little Discord channel. It's just popping off all the time. You can hear little beeps going crazy because we have a pretty lively chat. So check that out. And like and subscribe and all that goodness. And let's kill it tonight, guys. Good luck, everybody.